Welcome to the Roaming Yeti podcast, where we share stories and tips to inspire you to roam your neighborhood and the world. I am your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci. In this episode, I speak with Shawn Tylka about Atlanta to get an insider view of the city. Shawn has lived in Atlanta since 1994, making her practically a native by Atlanta standards. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia with her rescued Alaskan Malamutes, Hercules and Beethoven, and is the proud mother of a grown daughter, Mackenzie. Are you ready? Let's roam. Welcome back, everyone, to the Roaming Yeti podcast. Today, we're going to get an insider's view on Atlanta, Georgia, which is a city that I know we've had on our top of our list to visit, and I think a lot of people have. We're lucky today to have Shawn Tylka with us today. She has lived in Atlanta for 28 years, so I definitely say that gives her expert knowledge on the topic. Shawn, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So one of the first things I like that is what is it overall that you keeps you in Atlanta and you love about Atlanta?
There are so many things. I would have never thought I'd be a Southern girl after being born and bred in New Jersey, but I love it here. The weather's amazing. Generally we have mild winters. I love the people. There's a wide variety. It's a very diverse city. It's an international city. So, you're always meeting new people. There's always new experiences. There's tons to do. And, it's a historical place. All of the things that I love are here. So, I ended up staying for 28 years and I don't see myself leaving. And I love my airport. So that's probably the biggest thing. I love that I can get anywhere in the world from Atlanta. So
that is a definite thing to have a nice airport or two around you that you can get anywhere for the most part, probably. I'm assuming nonstop for most things.
Yeah, most places. I mean, I've even flown from here nonstop to Johannesburg in South Africa. So you can get pretty much anywhere.
Nice. So let's sort of jump into, if we're a visitor coming to Atlanta, I always like to get the local point of view, but obviously there are some touristy things that you probably can't miss doing. So what are the touristy things you should do while visiting Atlanta?
Yeah, there's so many. There are so many things to do in Atlanta. So I'm going to tell you my absolute favorites because I have some that I'm obsessed with. And my biggest obsession is the Center for Puppetry Arts. It is a little known gem. And it is one of the coolest places in Atlanta, and it grows every year. It gets a little bigger. So you probably didn't know this, but the Muppets live in Atlanta.
I did not know that.
You can visit the Muppets, like Big Bird, Oscar, Bert and Ernie, the Fraggles, the Dozers. Often the Muppets from Labyrinth are out, or the Dark Crystal. I mean, you name it. If it's a Henson puppet, they are often on display. The Sesame Street Muppets are always on display. You can visit Kermit and Miss Piggy every day if you want to. The Henson family is very involved in the Center for Puppetry Arts. It is a historical museum, so you can learn all about the history of puppetry from around the world. It's interactive, so it's great for little kids. It's, got all kinds of displays, so it's great for all ages. The masks and puppets from The Lion King live there.
Oh, wow.
The original Rudolph and Santa from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Rankin Bass, are on display right now because it's the holiday time. So it's a really cool museum. They have puppet shows every week you can go see. And for young children, they actually have puppet building workshops before the show. So you can make a puppet and then go see the show. So you've learned how the puppet works, and then you go see a show with that kind of puppet. So it's really cool.
So much
The best
fun.
part about the museum, it's like $10 to get in.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it. It's a gem, and it's a place that no place else in America really has. So it's a
Right.
good one. Another place we have that nobody else has is we have the College Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
It's if you're a college football fan, it's really unique and cool. It covers the history of it's like 150 plus years of college football. It has a lot of unique things. It's interactive again, great for kids and families. But what's really neat is when you go in, they ask you what's your team. And then as you go through the museum, it features your team. So when they're talking about fight songs, you hear your fight song. It's a very cool, unique museum. So that's another
Oh,
one I love.
I love a good interactive museum too.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the chance to try out stuff, like how do you throw a football, all that kind of thing. It's really neat.
Oh, fun.
So I don't know if you're a Coca-Cola drinker, but Atlanta is the home of Coca-Cola. And we have the World of Coke. It's a really fun museum. There's a great 3D video that you see at the beginning. There's all kinds of art and displays. There's, again, interactive stuff, great videos that you can play with on the computer. And then at the end, there is the tasting room. And you can taste Coca-Cola products from around the world. They have them situated by countries and locations. The infamous Beverly is always mentioned.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
as a fellow also Disney lover that I know you are, do they have Beverly? So that's good
Oh
to
yeah,
know.
Beverly's always there. It's funny. My daughter and I actually like the Beverly.
Do
We
you?
think it's a unique taste. But it's a cool location. And it's situated in Centennial Park, which was built for the 1996 Olympic Games. So there's a lot to do in that area, including like the aquarium.
Oh, fun.
There's a Ferris wheel there, CNN Center. That's where Mercedes-Benz Stadium is. So it's in a really cool place. And then the other place that I absolutely love that's really not historical is the Botanical Gardens, which
Mm.
it's just a great place to walk around in the summer and spring. And even right now, they have lights at night for the holidays.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. And then I have a whole historical section and I could go on for hours about Atlanta because I love it so much. But I'll just pick out a couple of my favorites. The Atlanta History Center is a great museum.
Hmm.
It has both indoor and outdoor portions to the museum. Inside, you can learn about the history of Atlanta. You can learn about the Olympics. You can learn about Bobby Jones, the golfer who was
Hmm.
from here. He's very famous. And then you can walk outside and visit a historic farm and see actual farming, and there's sheep to pet and goats and all that good stuff. But behind all of that is the Swan House. And the Swan House is this beautiful old mansion that's fully furnished the way it was back in the day. One of the richest families in Atlanta lived there.
Hmm.
And this house was featured as President Snow's mansion in the Hunger Games.
Oh,
Because, Beth, as you know, Atlanta is the Hollywood of the South,
right.
and there is a lot of filming here. So, pretty much wherever you go, you get to see a little peek at Hollywood and places you'll recognize from movies. So, that the Atlanta History Center is a great place to visit. President Snow's mansion. You get to walk in. They literally were allowed to film in the house with
Wow.
all the decor and everything. So it's exactly as
That's
it was.
exactly. That wasn't
Yeah.
set dress. Oh
No.
my gosh, so
Yeah.
cool.
It's so cool. So there's a lot of history here. If you're a book fan, um, Gone with the Wind was written here by Margaret Mitchell. You can visit her home on Peachtree Street, and that entry fee is also included in your Atlanta history fee.
Hmm.
So it's a great little home. It's amazing where she lived. You can see like exactly how she lived. She was a teeny tiny lady. So I always feel like a giant when I go in there, and I'm not a giant. So, it's one of those special things. But we have so many things here that people would love. There's great stuff for kids. There's great stuff if you like ghost tours. There's Oakland Cemetery. You could do a ghost tour at the Fox Theater.
Hmm.
Um, we have the High Museum of Art, which is amazing and has great, great art coming in. Martin Luther King Jr. was from here. So there's a whole historical site that you can go visit. You could see where he was born. You can visit Ebenezer Baptist where he preached. President Carter has a library here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's just so much. So, you could tell I love Atlanta, and I could go on and on and on, and you're like, okay.
No, not at all. I'm like, I think you're gonna need more than a weekend though to visit, huh?
Yes. Yes, you can come back again and again. We
Exactly.
love visitors.
I bet. No, I mean it's nice to hear about all the different kinds of things that people can do and look at. Is there anything that, you hear about but is sort of skip worthy?
100%. CNN was founded here by Ted Turner, which is a super cool fact. And there is a building, CNN, that you can go visit. Skip the tour, just skip it. It's not worth it. It's expensive, and they've changed it a lot. It's not, I'm sure there are people that have friends that, oh, you get to go see them live and on the air. It's not like that anymore. So I really think it's always a disappointment for people who have gone recently. So I say skip CNN tour, skip Stone Mountain. It's just outside the city. It is the largest granite rock in the US, and it's carved with some historical figures. But all of that said, it's become very commercialized, and it's again expensive, and unless you're just going to hike up the granite rock, I would say skip it completely. Right. You're going to spend a lot with little kids, especially. And then the one that it kind of breaks my heart to say, but the Varsity is this very cool old drive-in diner type place. I've never not had heartburn after I left. So,
oh no,
fair warning.
Pack your Pepsid.
Exactly.
So, talking about food, let's talk about what's good to eat. I mean, well, we all know about Southern food, so
yes,
what
Southern
are the
food? Yeah,
what are the must-haves?
Yes, so I can get you through a full day of eating. So, you definitely have to try Waffle House. Again, it's an Atlanta staple. There's a Waffle House probably on every corner. You can't miss the yellow and black sign. It is open 24 hours. You've probably heard the legends of if your Waffle House is closed, stay home because the storm is going to be really bad. I've never seen a closed Waffle House in all my years here, so I'm pretty lucky. But the food is great. The waffles are great. They make great scrambled eggs. I highly recommend. It's very inexpensive. They have a jukebox for the kids. I highly recommend it. If you're a brunch person, lunch person, if you're here with your girlfriends or on a couples trip, I recommend the Bible K in Buckhead, especially in the spring and summer. You can sit outside, people watch. It's great French food. Their French fries are absolutely amazing. I don't know how they make them so perfect every time, but it's great. They have great Bellinis there. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's a great place. Great snack. The King of Pops carts are all around town. They're flavored ice pops, really unique flavors, and they were founded here. It's probably one of the yummiest snacks you can have. Atlanta gets very hot, so an ice pop is always appreciated in the summer.
Favorite flavor?
And then I have a bunch of dinner recommendations, so prepare your stomach. So super fancy, you want to dress up, you're going to go to Atlas in the St. Regis. Chef Freddie Money is a magician. He creates amazing food every time. You're going to eat a lot of really delicious things. And the restaurant is beautiful. And the art on the walls is like priceless works of art. There are, I've sat under a Picasso and like just Picasso's there and I'm eating this amazing meal. And it's just really special. And you get to be dressed up. And who doesn't like to dress up? It's great. Then if you're a Top Chef fan, Chef Kevin Gillespie has several restaurants in Atlanta. One of my favorites is Gun Show, and it's like you're eating in his kitchen. He brings in chefs, particularly young chefs. They create their creations, and then they come to your table with their creation, and they explain to you what they've made. And you say, "Yeah, I want to try it," or "No, I don't." And it's really fun to go with like a friend or your significant other and share everything on the
Oh,
menu.
yeah.
So you get one of everything and try all the really delicious and unique foods. I've had stuff there that I never would have thought I would have eaten, and it was just amazing. And they have a cocktail cart that's fabulous. So
Oh, cool.
if you're into cocktails, great spot. If you like tasting menus, there's Lazy Betty. It's in Candler Park, which is part of Atlanta.
Okay.
Chef Ronald Sue's restaurant, he named it in honor of his mom,
Oh.
because she's not lazy. So, so that's why he named it Lazy Betty, as a little tongue-in-cheek honoring his mama. Tasting menus, fantastic. They have an outside patio. It's great. Cocktails, I love cocktails. A good cocktail. The garden room, also at the St. Regis, it is a stunningly, stunningly beautiful room. The cocktails are amazing, and like the food is so good. It's also Freddie Money.
Mhm.
It is more pricey, and it is not good for kids. It's
Right.
a high-end cocktail place, obviously. If you're a late night person, R. Thomas in Buckhead, great food. It's open late. It's a very unique place. The decor, I can't even describe it. You name it, it's on the walls. It's been there forever. It is in Atlanta, like iconic spot, and highly recommend it. Highly
Nice.
recommend it. And then there's one place I wanted to tell you about. It's a hotel. It's called the Claremont Hotel. It's a historic hotel in Atlanta that was just renovated a few years ago. It actually was featured on one of Anthony Bourdain's when he
Oh,
came to Atlanta. So you can
cool.
see him there with Alton Brown, actually, and it's a very cute clip. But the Claremont has a rooftop for drinks, great views of Atlanta, great spot. They have beautiful rooms. It's all been newly renovated. They have Tiny Lou's, which is a restaurant. It's
Hmm.
great. They have all kinds of special. I went there for a rosé tasting dinner. So good. Just really yummy, good food. They change up the menu a lot. And then downstairs, if you're an adult and you feel like staying late, you can go downstairs and watch the ladies dance. The ladies dance there and have danced there for a really long time. And it is the Claremont Lounge is a uniquely Atlanta spot that all says you can go meet Blondie and see the show and, enjoy yourself. It's something you wouldn't do anywhere else. So,
Right. Interesting. Man, that's
a lot of food.
a lot. It sounds so amazing and great too. Excuse me. Are is there like is there a specific food that would be like the specialty of Atlanta, or I know it's
Well,
very international city and diverse, so it's sort of hard, I know, but is there something that when you think Atlanta, you think, oh,
it's funny because we're really lucky. It's an international city, so any kind of food you want, you can pretty much get it.
hmm
But yeah, when I think of Atlanta, when I'm explaining it to people, obviously Coca-Cola, as I mentioned, but the other place we are home to is Chick-fil-A.
oh,
And so they were started here, right down by the airport in Hateville, Georgia. And you can eat in
hmm,
the original location, which is very cute and cool. But I like Chick-fil-A. I hate that they're closed on Sunday, and I don't agree with everything about Chick-fil-A,
right?
but it's a nice it's good chicken. So,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Um, are the lines there as bad as the lines? Like our Chick-fil-A is, I've never seen lines. It's constantly busy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but they seem to be like uniquely skilled at getting those lines. I don't even, it's like magic.
I know. If they were in charge of all, maybe we should put them in charge of airlines or something, or
Yes. Well, I know that in South Carolina, they actually during COVID, when the vaccines came out, they actually hired people from Chick-fil-A to do their lines for the very smart. I was like, why aren't we doing that everywhere?
I
Because they
know.
are magical with the lines.
They really are. They're it's a very, very efficient model for sure.
Mhm.
I feel like you've already shared a lot of best kept secrets about Atlanta, but are there any other ones we
There
should know
actually is
about?
one that we have a ton of new breweries here.
Oh,
You could do brewery tours. You can walk. We have a walkway that goes all the way around the city. It's called the Beltline. And there are breweries located along there that you can visit. Some of my favorites that are either on or off the Beltline. Sweetwater, you've probably heard of Sweetwater
mhm.
420. That's from Atlanta. There's a place Monday Night Brewing, New Realm, tons more. We're pretty proud of our breweries. So and that's happened since I moved here. Like it's only happened in the last, 15 years probably.
Yeah,
So it's pretty cool.
I am always up for a good brewery. Um, so again, it's living there sort of might be difficult to do this, but if you just had the weekend off, nothing you had to do, and you could just be a tourist in your city, what would be that perfect weekend?
Well, of course, I'd fly in on a Delta jet because Delta is based here. So flying on your Delta jet, stop in Hapeville and get breakfast at the Chick-fil-A Dwarf House, the original Chick-fil-A. And by the way, they have waitresses there that wait on you,
Oh,
which is amazing. Then I would take a Uber over, take a walk on the Beltline, stroll along, stop at Pont City Market and do some shopping, stop at one of the restaurants for lunch. And then in the afternoon, I would either, depending on the time of year, I would do an Atlanta United game, a Braves game, Hawks game, um, Falcons game. They're gonna lose. But that's what I would do. If I had kids with me, I would instead of stopping at a brewery or anything, I would grab a bike or a scooter and go on a hunt for tiny doors. We have an artist here who has
oh,
hidden teeny tiny doors all around the city, and you can go find them and hunt them down. So, and then I would get on my Delta jet and fly home. That's what I would do in just a weekend.
that's not, I love that tiny door thing. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Is
it's
there
it's
is there
really
like a
cool.
resource or a map that sort of gives you
Mm-hmm.
locations? Okay.
Yeah, you can visit her website to get the maps to find, I think there's 16 or 17 of them now. There's a lot. A lot of them are located at major stops, that you might want to visit if you're here. Like there's one at the Fabulous Fox Theater right outside. There's one at Center for Puppetry Arts. They're all over the city, so it's great. It's a great way to see the whole city, and you can actually visit her studio in Atlantic Station
Mm,
in Atlanta. And she's a lovely person and does a lot for the city. So it's very cool.
it's very cool. I think you mentioned one place to shop. Where else are good places to get your shopping done?
Yeah, I mentioned Pont City Market, which is a lot of local. There's a couple stores of local artists and unique places. If you really want to get your shopping on and you've got like a credit card ready to go, I suggest going to the shops at Buckhead.
Okay.
The shops in Buckhead, it's basically our version of Rodeo Drive.
Hmm,
Um, I will admit to stopping in Jimmy Choo recently to get my shoes for my daughter's wedding. So,
nice.
but you name the designer and they probably have a shop there. And even window shopping there is worth it. So that would be my favorite. We
Hmm.
have some traditional classic old school malls around. Um, but I really like the outdoor shopping. Atlantic Station is another outdoor shopping place
Okay.
that you can visit. And often they have special events at Atlantic Station, like Cirque du Soleil and
Oh
that
wow.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. So, other than bringing home Jimmy Choo shoes, is there another perfect souvenir that that's sort of symbolizes And when I say that, I always think people think like the snow globes and the
Uh-huh.
airport and stuff, but like that thing that you can hang on, put on your shelf or hang on your wall that you like remember that trip.
Yeah. Well, you can't hang this on your wall, but you can enjoy it for a few days after your trip. And I would say that's praline pecans or pecans, depending on
Ooh.
your preference. I always say you get pecans in the backyard and pecans in the front yard. But they make some really delicious praline pecans here. If you're a pecan fan, that would be what I would say bring home.
Okay.
Um, there's all kinds of unique things here, but you can get this is kind of cool at the World of Coca-Cola. You can make a Coca-Cola bottle, like you can design it and they'll print it for you and you can bring it home.
Oh,
There's
cool.
also really cool Coke things, like if you're a collector. So but yeah, I would stick with the pecans. They're my favorite.
Yeah, that sounds like delicious for sure. I think you mentioned, walking the Beltline and stuff, and what are the other good ways to get around the city?
Yeah. We are a driving city.
Okay.
And you can rent a car, but I would say Atlanta traffic is a little bit notorious. So I would suggest Uber or, Lyft. It's the easiest, it's fairly inexpensive. We also have taxis here,
Okay.
so you can grab transportation. We do have the scooters. If you're a brave person, I'm terrified of them.
Yeah.
There's a point in life where you just go, yeah, I'm not riding a scooter down a hill. But
Right.
and they also have the bike rentals here.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of ways to get around. You can, of course, rent a car and drive, but you're on vacation. So let somebody else do the driving for you.
Right. How far about is the like ride from the airport into the city where most
Into
people
city
would stay?
center, it's like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah. And there's a lot of great hotels and stuff right downtown. The one weekend, if you want to come for some really good people watching, come Labor Day weekend.
mm,
We have Dragon Con that weekend. It is one of the largest cons. It's one of the original cons. 120,000 people come. You can see your fill of stormtroopers and Ghostbusters and all the things. There's a parade. It's actually a fantastic weekend to be in town, but it's a little crazy. You're going to see some stuff.
yeah. That's actually on my daughter's list of cons to
Yeah,
visit.
it's a fantastic one. I could talk about it forever. I love it.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was Labor Day weekend, so on top
Yes,
of
it's
everything
it's like
else,
a
it's
6-day con. Yeah.
oh, okay.
It's a big one. It is definitely like you can buy a 1-day pass.
Right.
But it's so worth going, and like there's a bar at the Ritz-Carlton where you could sit outside, and there's a Ritz-Carlton on Peachtree Street where they march past for the parade. Great place for breakfast, have some mimosas, watch the parade go by. You know, it's
That's
it's worth it. It's like a 3-hour parade. It goes
oh
on
my
forever.
gosh.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
other than our cosplay gear for Dragon Con, like how should people like what should we pack? What should we wear when we come?
Yeah, we people in Atlanta like to dress nice.
Okay.
So I would say definitely like nice casual clothes, like, be comfortable but look, nice.
Hmm.
Like think about would your mom say, "Oh, you look nice." Uh, and then you're good. It's a very southern city. So people
That
like
is
to dress.
such a good barometer for something. It's like if your
It's a
mom said,
simple one. Like if your
right.
mom would be like, "Oh, you're gonna wear that? Don't wear that." And then the biggest thing is, especially in the spring, summer, and fall, wear sunscreen.
Mhm.
It gets very hot here. The sun is hot. There's a lot to do outside. You don't want to get burned and ruin your weekend. But we have great weather here. It does rain a lot. Always bring a rain jacket in the spring, in
Mhm.
particular. Our winter is generally, if it's in our precipitation is going to be generally rain.
Mhm.
Occasionally we get snow and then we make the news. So, don't come if it's snowing. Don't.
If you see our weather report on the news, don't come.
Yeah, exactly. Skip that trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine traffic's a whole different beast when the
Oh,
weather's
yeah.
bad like
Yeah.
that.
It's a long story, but my daughter was once stuck in a car for 8 hours driving home from school. So that just gives you a sample of how bad it can be.
Yeah. So I feel like we've talked about a lot of experiences that are sort of truly authentic to Atlanta, but sort of just as a end piece, like what is that true, even if it's sort of just a combination, like what is
Mhm.
that truly authentic thing that you can't get anywhere else?
Well, I think the cool thing about Atlanta is people really like people here.
Hmm.
It's a really unique place. We have a lot of things to see. We are the home to some of the best rappers in the world. So you can come here and you're probably going to bump into someone who's an up and coming rapper. They're real friendly. They like to meet people to get their name out there. Um, I would say taking a stroll on the Bell Line, seeing a Braves or an Atlanta United game, eating at Waffle House, Chick-fil-A, drinking a Coke on Peachtree Street. You can't. And we have like 31 plus Peachtree streets. So there's lots of opportunity to do that. And then maybe catching a show at the Fox Theater. I mean, that's a really unique Atlanta thing. It's a beautiful theater. We have great stuff there. So, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, and it's definitely popping up on the top of my weekend trip kind of situation there. Um, this is great information. You've provided me with the links, so I'll be able to put those all in the show notes for everyone. Um, because there's so many cool things to check out. I do have a few questions that I didn't provide you ahead of time. They're sort of my rapid fire, but not rapid fire questions, um, that I ask everyone. So we'll hit you up with those. When you go on a road trip, what is your favorite road trip snack?
Bugles. I love
Bugle.
bugles. It's the only time I ever eat them is if I'm on a road trip.
Well, that's because I've said it a million times. Road trip calories don't count. So
Exactly.
you have to. I have not had a bugle in forever. I'm gonna have to
Me
add that to
neither.
my to my road trip snack. What is your next planned trip? What do you have on the radar here?
I'm actually, this is really cool. I'm going on a cruise with my one of my closest friends from seventh grade on. And she and I are going on the Celebrity Beyond, which is
Mhm.
their newest ship, because we're both obsessed with Captain Kate, one of the first female cruise ship captains. And we're gonna go have a girls' week in the Caribbean. And I am like obsessed about it. And it's in less than 50 days, and I can't wait.
That sounds so much fun. What is your like dream trip? Do you have a like the bucket list trip?
Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Yeah. And I love penguins. I'd like to see them all. And I would really like to do go down the coast of South America, do the Falklands, the whole thing all the way down. And then,
Hmm.
you know, before I die, a goal is to hit all 7 continents.
Okay.
So I've got 5. The
Nice.
last 2 are kind of far and a little harder to get to from Atlanta. So, you
So
know,
you have Antarctica, and what's the other one you need to get to?
I need Australia.
Oh, Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both flight commitments.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have friends in Australia. I would very much like to go and see them. I think that will happen before Antarctica, but you never know, you know.
Yeah, both very cool. Do you have a favorite trip that you've gone on?
Oh, there's so many that are favorites for different reasons,
Right.
but one of the most unique ones that I think of a lot is we went to Iceland, my
Okay.
family did, and we spent a weekend in Reykjavik, and then we got on a National Geographic explorer ship, and we circumnavigated the country. And it
Cool.
was really cool and unique. I actually have walked on an island that sits in the Arctic Ocean. Saw puffins, which are one of the coolest birds I've ever seen. It was very cool. It's a very really cool, unique place to visit. People are awesome. They've got some really interesting traditions. Trolls live there. Elves, they believe in all that. They actually rerouted their highways because the trolls lived in place. It's just highly recommend it. And it's like a 4.5, 5-hour flight from New York.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and you could actually do Reykjavik in a weekend and like fly over, do a long weekend there, see we were in the summer, so we didn't see the Northern Lights, but you could go in the winter. It's a really cool place. I highly recommend it. It's a favorite. I have several favorites for different reasons, but that's a unique one.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you have a favorite travel tip to share?
That's a really good question. I'm going to go back to when my daughter was little. So she's traveled since she was like 8 months old on planes. Once she was a little older, my favorite thing to bring to keep her occupied on a plane was pipe cleaners.
Oh.
Pipe cleaners can be used for so many things. And we used to make little creatures out of them. And then she could play with the little creatures, or she would make things. And then they just get undone and you can reuse them again on the flight. And it was the only time she ever got pipe cleaners to play with. So it was like this unique toy. And they don't take up a lot of room in the bag.
Right.
So yeah, that's my big tip for parents.
That's an ingenious one. I gotta remember that one. Not that I don't know. Maybe my 18-year-old daughter would be entertained with pipe cleaners.
She might be,
She might be. Who knows what she'd make. So when you travel or road trips or anything, who is on your travel playlist? Or are you a podcast audiobook person?
Yeah, I am probably like Billy Joel, Elton John, Taylor Swift. You gotta have Taylor in there.
Have Taylor.
Yeah. Lady Gaga, pretty much any 80s music at all. Like, I'm a 80s kid. But yeah, I'm very eclectic. I like it all. Like, I'm obsessing over Ed Sheeran right now. So, but I do like Taylor. She's great.
Yes, we have that on a heavy rotation here. We did not get tickets, but
yeah, same. My daughter got a ticket.
Did she?
She left me out. What? No, she got a ticket from a friend. She struggled through that nightmare day. We all did, but
yeah, very cool. Well, this has been great. I know people are gonna if Atlanta was not on their list before, I think it will be after this conversation. So I really appreciate your time and your insider view for sure.
Great. Well, please come. We love visitors.
There you go. You heard it. They're going to make her president of the tourism bureau down there for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But Shawn, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Shawn for sharing her insider tips on what to do and see in Atlanta. Please head over to the show notes on the website, theroamingyeti.com, to learn more about Shawn and get links to all the experiences and places she mentioned during our interview. And thank you for listening. I hope these episodes inspire you to get out and roam, even in your own neighborhood. Please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and if you like what we're doing here, please leave a review and rating. Also, to help support us, please head over to yeti2shop.com to pick up some Roaming Yeti merch. Talk to you soon, and keep roaming.